Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B. Oh.
What's good?
Ain't shit. I mean, ain't nothing.
Oh, man, we're here, man. We're here.
Yeah, man. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
Yeah, so I know y'all, everybody probably like, what's going on? Why they not in the same room? Oh my gosh. Well, it's nothing crazy. We work. We work. So sometimes things happen where, we the good thing is we have the opportunity to still, bring a show and we can still give you guys content. Me being right, of course, we continue to do what we got to do. But nonetheless, we here. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo. That's Scotty B. There's a lot to talk about with the draft. We got the NBA playoffs going on. A couple teams can close out. By the time you see this, that they either gonna continue to play or they're gonna be closed out. And Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. Finally,
Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. All right, we gotta start there. What are your thoughts on that? I know personally, I think the Jets had to get that deal done.
Right.
I know there's been a lot of mixed feelings about should they have given up what they gave up to get Aaron Rodgers, and is it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel like their window to win is now, and going all in on a quarterback is a smart decision.
Okay. So I feel like with Aaron Rodgers, I agree. I do agree that the Jets needed to get this deal done because they had some of the worst quarterback play in the history of football. So getting the deal done was something that the Jets needed to do, but could they have gotten something else? Like my thing is this: if you had an opportunity to get Lamar Jackson and you would have to give up a few picks to get Lamar Jackson, and you're gonna have Lamar Jackson at the ultimate least 5 years, do you make that move? And I think that I would rather have Lamar Jackson than Aaron Rodgers, but I understand why they went after Aaron Rodgers. One, because they didn't have to give up as many picks, but the money is the money. And my thing is, if you're going to have to pay that type of money, pay to somebody that you can have for multiple years.
So I think they like the ability to be on a rental with Aaron Rodgers, right? So, ideally, I believe it's structured to where it's after year 2. I think it's a conditional first round in the second year of the trade, to where it depends on how many snaps he gets. Aaron Rodgers right now is committed to basically 1 year. He did what any logical person would do, is say, you know what? I know for a fact I'm going to give you 1 year. And I will assess it after that 1 year is over to see if I'm going to give you a second year. So with that, you look at the Jets, they feel like they're all in, right? They feel like they've got the team. They're a quarterback away. You bring in a superstar that's on pretty much his last, I wouldn't say his last leg, but I don't think many people would debate that he's at the end of his career. Now, how many more years does he have left? That's up for debate. But I think most people would agree that he at least has one more year in him. And they can go from there. They can decide, okay, do we draft quarterback next year? Do we go out and we test free agency? We don't have to be stuck in the contract with Lamar. And to your point, I think the smarter football move was to go get Lamar. But I think where they're kind of at is they're just like, you know what, we're in a win now situation. We've seen this movie play out with Tampa Bay and with the Rams, to where they're thinking, hey, maybe this is just what we have to do to just get the Super Bowl.
All right, so here's the thing. The one thing, I think it was easier for Tampa Bay to get to the Super Bowl than it would be for the Jets to get to the Super Bowl, because Tampa didn't have to go through as many obstacles as, say, the Jets will have to go through, because you still have you still have Kansas City, you got Cincinnati, you still got the Bills. The Bills are there, Miami's there. Some would say Denver, because I think Denver's going to be a whole lot better. So just with those teams, and I'm sure that there's going to be some teams that's going to sneak up on people, like maybe a Jacksonville or Chargers, So I'll say that he's going to have more of a headache in the AFC than he would have in the NFC, and I'm speaking of Aaron Rodgers. But
I agree. Everything that you said is spot on. But from the Jets front office situation, maybe they think they can beat those teams. I don't, but maybe they do.
No, they could beat those teams. I'll put it like last year. I mean, look at the Bills. The Jets had some of the worst quarterback play in the history of football, and they split with the Bills, and they competed with a whole lot of teams. It's not like any teams really blew out the Jets. They just had bad quarterback play. Their running back got hurt, but the defense is legit.
But so let me ask you, you think that this move makes the Jets a Super Bowl contender? Realistically, I mean, just all jokes aside.
I think this move. Well, one, I think the Jets still need to make a few other moves, but I think this move makes them an AFC Championship game contender. I don't think that they're necessarily a Super Bowl contender. I mean, so the year before Tom Brady got to Tampa Bay, I think people felt like they were like a quarterback away, right? And they were 7-9. They were 7-9. But what helped them get over the hump and win the Super Bowl was them getting what's the running back's name?
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Gronk, and then some of the pieces that they added on defense. I think they added in Ndamukong Suh. So they still, after they added Brady, they still added some other pieces. And I feel like the Jets still need to add, a few more vets, whether they don't have to be somebody that plays all year. Like if they was to add a Gronk right now, right? Now, I'm not saying, we all know that Gronk don't got the relationship with Rodgers that he does with Brady, of course. But if you add somebody like a Gronk to the Jets, that's going to help take care of the middle of the field, even though they already have a tight end, or one of his boys. I guess they got Lazard, right? So I mean, they got one of his, but he ain't no Antonio Brown, So if you get another receiver that's like Odell would have been perfect. Now if you tell me they would have got Odell and Aaron Rodgers, I'm saying yes, they are a Super Bowl contender. But as we stand right now, I think that they're a contender to get to the AFC Championship, not necessarily the Super Bowl yet. There's still moves to be made. They still got the draft, so we'll see.
So I look at it a little bit different, right? And,
Mhm.
and it's a combination of everything that you said. They are pieces away. And for me, I see this as being the Denver story of last season. Um, what a lot of people aren't talking about is in that Tampa Bay situation and in that Matthew Stafford situation, those guys were invested and they were hungry. Um, they went with those teams and they worked out consistently. They got in the receiver room and they put in a lot of work to like it just wasn't okay. We got Matthew Stafford, we got a Super Bowl, or we got a Tom Brady, and we got a Super Bowl. Those guys put in a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
With Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if his commitment level to the Jets is of such part. Like I don't get where he's at, right? So is he hungry enough to go in there and put in the work with his new receivers, with his new team, with the new coaching staff? I heard today that they brought in Nathaniel Hackett. You know, that's, huh?
Yeah, they hired him like 2 months ago.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit of familiarity there. But I see it like the Russell Wilson situation. I mean, Russell Wilson got to Denver, and it was a shock. Now he was hurt, according to the team, but it was a vast difference. And I mean, to your point, and I do agree with this, in year two, we're going to see a different Russell Wilson. We'll see a different Denver team. He's going to actually put in the work. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go in there and really commit to, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to win a championship, I'm trying to buy in, we're going to see a above average team, maybe the playoffs at best, and it's going to be is what it is, you know.
All you got to do is get to the playoffs. At the end of the day, the main thing is you got to get to the playoffs. Are they going to be bumps in the road? Absolutely. It's a new quarterback, a new quarterback in the familiar system, but with a new team. I'll say this, right? I understand. I don't think it's the same as Denver, because with Denver, Russell Wilson was going to a situation where it was a new head coach that didn't know what the hell he was doing. I think we can agree that Robert Saleh knows what he's doing. Nathaniel Hackett, who was that head coach, he's a better OC than he is head coach. Clearly, right? We've seen him as an OC, and he kind of looks like he knows what he's doing. Again, a lot of times,
let's go back to that.
One quick thing. A lot of times, when you go somewhere new, it kind of like gives you that juice that you necessarily may not have in your old situation, because you're so comfortable and you know everything is your way or the highway. I think in this situation, Aaron Rodgers knows that people are watching. He knows that it's all eyes are on him, and if he screws this up, this is it.
So the Nathaniel Hackett and Denver situation. Let's go back there for a second.
That's fine.
Was Nathaniel Hackett one of the worst coaches? Decision. I don't want to say one of the coaches and one of the worst coaches in NFL history, but I'll say it was pretty bad, right? Everybody watched it, and everybody could agree that he was not ready to be a head coach. But I do feel like that Russell Wilson did not play well either. Some of that was on Russell Wilson. And did he get his fair share of blame throughout the season? Yeah, I mean, people killed.
He got all the blame throughout the season. They didn't. I mean, eventually they blamed Hackett, but he got all the blame.
He got a lot of blame, and rightfully so. I mean, Russell Wilson was playing terrible football. Mm-hmm. You don't think it was terrible football? I mean, you're a coach. I mean,
he wasn't playing well. I get that, but he wasn't put in positions to play well either.
Okay. So when you say, all right, so I want to ask you to put on your coach hat for a second. What else could they have done to make him play better? Like, and you're putting it on the coach. What are you seeing that would help?
So Russell Wilson didn't call plays. Now I see a lot of people say, well, he's a vet. He's a vet. He should audible if he needs to, but that may not be their system. That may not be what they give him to do. Yeah, they paid him all that money, but if the coach says, yo, we running what's called, then we running what's called. Now I think let's go back to game 1 when they played Seattle. And people said, well, he should have called timeout. Well, the coach is the one that's, in all actuality, the coach is the head coach is the one that's in charge of the timeouts and things of that nature. They had a plan because maybe they wanted to do whatever. They should have called timeout a minute before they called their first timeout. Now, could Russell Wilson have called the timeout? Yeah, but maybe he was just following orders. Again, I'm not saying that Russell Wilson played well, but I also don't think that he was put in position to play well. And it wasn't just him; it was the receivers too. They had guys that was dropping passes. There was some of the play calling was just bad, So it's a lot of blame to go around, and of course, Russell Wilson is a figurehead, and he's the starting quarterback that's getting $250 million. So yes, he needs to be held accountable, but the head coach needs to be held accountable as well.
So here's my take on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certain guys in the NFL just play better in certain systems. Everybody is not a player that you can just put in any type of system and they're going to exceed. I think that in Seattle, he played well with Pete Carroll. And we'll see this season, right? We'll see. He's had a different season. They brought in a different coach. He's got one of the greatest coaches. So he went from one of the worst coaching debuts ever to one of the greatest coaches that has a good system that really is no excuses, right? I mean, he should be able to play in Sean Payton's system. Would you agree with that? So we'll find out a lot about it. I think that I'm not going to say Russell Wilson got exposed in my book, but I will say that I'm starting to question, was he just really good in the Seattle system opposed to being able to adapt to any other system?
And let's not forget that the Denver O-line last year was very bad. It was a bad O-line. That's why they've revamped pretty much their offense. The offensive line, they've brought in pieces. They brought in running backs. They had some good receivers. So I personally feel like that they are going to be better just by default. They have a better team now. It's just, Now, the thing is, if Russell Wilson, if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do this year, and he doesn't produce this year, then he's going to be gone, or they're going to figure out a way to trade him, cut him, whatever they're going to have to do, they're going to do it. So, yeah. Now, going back to the Aaron Rodgers situation, I feel like they need some people. They need to see how Breece Hall bounces back from his injury. I feel like they need to get maybe another veteran receiver. I know they got Lazard, but they need another explosive receiver. And they still need help on that line. The line ain't the greatest when it comes to pass blocking, but now the defense. Everybody's saying that this is the best defense he's had maybe in his career. We'll see. We'll see.
So I'll agree this, right? The Jets defense is really good. They are a good defense. Some of those Packers defenses that he had I'm not going to say that they're as good as the Jets defense, but but let's not act like he had like, and it's not you. I keep hearing everybody say it. Let's not act like this is Peyton Manning with the Colts. you know what I mean? That he didn't have any defenses and had to make it better. Those Packer defenses,
they were not that good. Stop it, Scott. No, they were not. No, they were not. No, they were not. He had some lackluster defensive teams. Now, when they won the Super Bowl, they had a really good defense, and even that defense wasn't that great. But Charles Woodson was really damn good that year. But no, because Matthews he got old quick, and they no.
Those defenses weren't terrible or anything like that. He had average and above average defenses. Like they would like Aaron Rodgers and
never had a tough defense.
Where we're going to disagree. He's always had pretty good teams around him. He has like the organization.
They had pretty good teams around them because they had Aaron Rodgers. That's why they were pretty. If you take Aaron Rodgers from those teams would stink. They wouldn't just be.
Oh no,
crazy. No. Yes, they would.
He's always had a solid. Well, for the most part, he's had a solid running game. His receivers have been,
When like recently, he's had a solid running game when he got Aaron Jones and those guys. But
Eddie Lacy was a decent runner.
Okay.
You don't think Eddie Lacy was good
when he was with Aaron Rodgers? Yeah.
I mean, before he gained all that weight.
When he was with Aaron Rodgers, just think about the guy aside from what's his name that just went to Oakland or Vegas. Aside from him, right? Look at all the guys that left Green Bay and what they look like when they went to their new teams and didn't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. Just look at them.
So Greg Jennings went to a terrible situation in Minnesota. That wasn't his fault. He was still a good receiver. Greg Jennings was good. Jordy Nelson was a good receiver that went to the Raiders like when he was ready to retire. I mean, like that receiving core that he had, Jermichael Finley was a good tight end. Like he's like, come on now, let's not do this.
I didn't say he had bad teams. What I am saying is that he made a lot of those guys. Like he made a lot of those guys. So
that's because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He is Hall of Fame quarterback. That's what he do.
That's fine. But so me saying that the reason why the team was successful was because they had Aaron Rodgers is not far-fetched. Because we'll see how that now they didn't make the playoffs last year, but we'll see how good they're supposed to be this year.
Okay, so
I can almost guarantee you that you're not gonna pick them to win that division. I'm definitely not picking them to win that division because I didn't pick them this past year.
So let's do this, right? Mm-hmm. So now, and I know we're going way off topic.
It's fine. That's why we're here.
If Joe Burrow was on those Packers teams,
they win the Super Bowl.
Okay. If
which Packers team? Wait. Like the 15.
We'll go Drew Brees, right? We'll say Drew Brees. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, has had a better career. Not necessarily. Their careers are pretty comparable.
Okay.
Would you say that's fair?
Absolutely. They're both Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
And both Hall of Fame quarterbacks. If you put Drew Brees on those Packer teams, do they win a Super Bowl or do they win more Super Bowls? Do you get the same result? with Drew Brees?
You probably would. You probably would get to the conference finals and not get over the hump. Yeah, that sounds about right.
You put Tom Brady on those teams. Do you win more than one Super Bowl?
Yes.
I think so too. I believe if Tom Brady was in a Packer uniform,
Yeah, they would have more than one Super Bowl in the last 10 or 12 years, or however long it was, 13 years.
you put Philip Rivers on that team. Does he get a Super Bowl?
No.
Okay,
Defense,
so
the defense not good enough. Wasn't good enough.
So it's Charger teams that he had.
Mm-hmm.
You consider those better than the teams that Aaron Rodgers had?
You charge teams that who had Philip Rivers?
Philip Rivers. Because he had a lot of teams to where he could have.
So I know it was one year he had LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates and what's the dude that passed away?
Not
Vincent,
Jefferson. Not
Vincent
Jackson.
Vincent Jackson. So I mean, he has some good teams. I mean, he's won a lot. Like Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer, and so the Packer teams were better.
Okay, so I give you another one, and this is a little bit tougher. Tony Romo. If you put him on those Packer teams, does he win the Super Bowl?
Yes, because he would have had better coaching.
I believe Tony Romo could have took those Packer teams. He would have got a Super Bowl out the deal.
I could agree there.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't have been as much pressure on Romo as it was in Dallas. It wouldn't have been as much pressure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. With I am a little bit diminishing what Aaron Rodgers is doing has done, but I'll say this, and I guess this is my stance. I don't think that those Packer teams were that terrible to where if you brought in an above average quarterback, that they couldn't have got it done with those teams as well.
No, you're definitely diminishing what Aaron Rodgers has done. He's literally put the team on his back multiple times. You're absolutely. You're not just gonna bring in an above average quarterback and he's gonna do what Aaron Rodgers has done. No way. No.
One of Brett Favre's parting words, and you know Brett Favre has thrown a lot of shade over the years to Aaron Rodgers. Is when Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, he said, "I'm surprised he didn't do it earlier. Those teams were loaded." And you go back and it sounded like a little sour grapes from Brett Favre, and it probably was sour grapes,
Sure.
but he was not that far off. Some of those teams had a lot of talent on them, man.
No. Because Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl his third year as a starter, right?
Right, but Brett Favre
his third year as a starter, and when he became the starter, the Packers stunk. Like he went like his first year as a starter, he was like 6-10 or something like that, or 7-9. He was like 6-10 his first year as a starter, and then 2 years after that, he won a damn Super Bowl. Brett Favre, he needs to worry about.
I gotta look at that though. I thought that he had a really good season his first year as a starter.
Hell no, that was like the last time the Cowboys beat Aaron Rodgers, and now we gotta play him again. Here he go. We can't avoid this goddamn motherfucker. Listen. At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers,
okay.
and I want to say that was his maybe his only losing season, but nonetheless, I think that with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, it was definitely just sour grapes. It's the guy that took his spot. So he feels a sort of way about like, oh nah, they kind of pushed him out for Aaron Rodgers. So it's absolute sour grapes. And somebody he wears Wranglers, so you can't trust a man that wears Wranglers.
Oh, come on, man.
My bad.
Hey, that's what the state of Mississippi is saying. No.
So I'll say this. You are diminishing what Aaron Rodgers has done in his career with the Green Bay Packers. And I mean, we have to recognize that it's not easy to win the Super Bowl. It takes a lot of luck. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers, he was really unlucky.
All right, so
I mean,
trying to find it.
You trying to find what?
The 2008 Packers. That's when he took over.
Yeah. So
you're right. In 2008, they were 6-10,
mm-hmm.
and they missed the playoffs. He had a phenomenal year, but yeah, they missed the playoffs his first year. So you're right. Now the next year, he had a good year, and then the following year,
he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And remember when he left, when Brett Favre left, they just weren't that good. I mean, and then you look at it honestly. They had one losing season before this year. I think they went 8-9 this year. But okay, his first year in Green Bay as a starter, and his last year in Green Bay. Well, you had like the year before he won the MVP. He got hurt. He was like 6-9. Green Bay was 6-9-1. He was hurt that year, and that's when he was coming off of an injury, and then they didn't know how good he was gonna be, but then the following, that's when they drafted Jordan Love. They thought it was like the end of the road, and then he won like 2 straight MVPs and did all of that stuff. So, I mean, to say that they should have won it sooner, if the team was loaded, that's bull. That's bull. I mean, let's be honest. Brett Favre had some loaded teams. He had some loaded teams. So, yeah. But nonetheless, let's get to the winner of the week, because I don't want to talk about Brett Favre because he likes to figure it. All right.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
So these days, you say don't trust anybody that wears Wranglers, and I'm thinking maybe Dylan Brooks might be wearing Wranglers. I went on the record last week and I said, you know what? I'm a fan of what Dylan Brooks is doing, and I think that he should be calling out the other team. But part of that too is when you talk mess and you don't back it up, you can't go missing. And it's just crazy that since the Lakers have won the last 2 games, Dylan Brooks is missing. He's nowhere to be found with the press. He's not talking any more mess. And one thing that I'll say about all the greats that talk mess and all the guys that are stir up the pot, like the Draymonds, the Matt Barnes, whoever, they not only back their stuff up, but if they didn't, they were right there to address the public and address the media, and they weren't hiding. So for this reason, I'm going to give Dylan Brooks my winner of the week. Ja Morant too. He's nowhere to be found too. And it's just the critique all year on the Memphis Grizzlies have been they haven't done anything. All year, they've been talking. They've been chirping. They've been there. And they're on the brink of being eliminated as a 2nd seed out of the playoffs, by the Lakers, they got to be called to the carpet because they've been talking all year long. And all year I've been commending them. Hey, talk it. But when you get to the playoffs, you have to back it up, man. What are your thoughts?
Well. Look at here. So, I like John Morant. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's one of the future faces of the league. Even with all the situations he had this year, I think he learns from what happened this year, and he becomes a mega star. Dylan Brooks, not so much. Dylan Brooks is, a new age Deshaun Stevenson, a less successful Draymond Green, less talented Lance Stevenson. He's one of those guys that is just not as good as some of the other guys that have chirped about LeBron or came at him, whatever. So I feel like not only should he be the winner of the week, he should be weenie of the month because you called out LeBron. He's old. You said he was old. You said he poked bears. You don't respect anybody till they drop 40 on you. And I know I'm not on
20 and 20 count. This 20 to 20 count.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is this: I don't think I'm alone when I say that I didn't expect LeBron to score 40 in Game 3. What I expected him to do was put on a show. Ultimately, take jabs when he needed to take jabs, as far as like putting up points, making the right play like LeBron does. He's been around. So I expected LeBron to come out and I expected them to win the game. Now I did not expect them to be up by 30 in the first half, and hold them to 9 points in the first quarter. And I feel like him not talking to the media these last 2 games is so lame. It's so weak. It shows his character, right? It shows his character. And it ultimately says you ain't who you thought you were. Because if you really thought you were that good, you would talk to the media. You would be able to stand in front of those cameras and take whatever it is that they had to give you. Because you the one that sat there in front of those same cameras and called out LeBron, who's the all-time scoring leader. He said something about he said he wanted LeBron in the playoffs. He said that's who he wanted. And it ain't looking too bright. You're kind of looking like David Jackson in the battlegrounds, going against. I'm not. you poke bears. Don't be mad when the bear attacks. So I think that. Do I think that they're gonna win Game 5? I have a feeling that they will, but I think this series is over. If it's not over in Game 5, it's definitely over in Game 6. So
even if it's over in Game 6 or it's over in Game 7, Dylan Brooks has now lost all credibility. If LeBron definitely closes him out tonight, he has lost all credibility. He won't be able to talk anymore. He will, but it's just to go out like that. So if he would have talked to the media and just owned it and just like, you know what, I called out LeBron. I knew what I was doing. He responded. The series ain't over. I'll play better, and we'll just keep it going. Then I think a lot of people would have clowned him, but it would have been what it was, and people. I'm not going to say they were forgot, but it would have went over a little bit well. But a little bit better. But for them to be the number 2 overall seed, been talking all year.
Remember, Ja said he ain't worried about the West. He said those are his words. Those are his words. And then all these teams in the West got better.
On to somebody that is backing up all his shit talk. Jimmy Buckets Butler. Jimmy Buckets Butler.
I wish I had a Marquette hat. I might go buy a Marquette hat. I already got a Heat hat, but I ain't wearing no Heat hat right now because man, oh man. Listen, if they close, that'll be worse than Memphis. If Miami beats Milwaukee in five, that's worse than Lakers beating Memphis in 5. It's worse than the Lakers beating Memphis.
Yeah. So the only reason it's worse is the Greek Freak, and I think we all agree that Milwaukee has a better team. Well, no, I shouldn't say a better team than Memphis.
No. You can say they have the best record in the league. They have a better team.
Yeah, it's no sugarcoating it. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. Miami has the most undrafted players. Not only just in their starting lineup on their team than anybody else in the playoffs right now.
So, I personally just see the Lakers closing out Memphis before I see Miami closing out Milwaukee.
And that's the other reason why that makes it even worse. That makes it that much worse. That if they lose, if Milwaukee loses, that may be the biggest collapse in NBA history. I mean, it's we've seen 8s beat 1s before, right? A couple times. The Knicks did it before. Denver did it before against Seattle. But it just seems different. It seems different, and I think it'd be worse than Dallas losing in the first round. It's
bad because I want to tell you, I was watching that game. You were battling, but I was watching the game. It was 6:59, and I said, I wonder what the odds are if I bet on Miami. And I was like, nah, ain't no way in the world Miami is coming back from this game. And no sooner than I believe Milwaukee went up by 10.
13.
Well, at the time, now I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
And then Bam hit a shot. He hit a nice floater. And then Jimmy Butler just went to work, went unconscious. And it's like you just saw Milwaukee's heart just get ripped out in front of them. And it was one of those performances that, people had good performances lately, but it was one of them performances to where you had to go back and you had to say, you know what, Jimmy Butler is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the better performances that I've seen in a long time, to where somebody just said, you know what, I am going to take this game and there's nothing that you can do about it. It almost, and a lot of people may say I'm over exaggerating, but it looked like Michael Jordan. It looked Michael Jordan-ish.
You heard the rumors.
That he's Michael Jordan's long lost son.
Yeah.
I mean, what I was watching, anything is possible, because I haven't seen anything like that. It looked Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan-ish. Like it just, It was Mamba mentality. It was Jordanist. Like was it was a hell of a performance, man. Hell of a performance.
So, all right, and they're 12-point dogs tonight in Milwaukee. So we'll see what happens. It looks like they don't think that Miami's gonna win that game. So we'll see. Your New York Knicks.
It might be a good game to bet on.
Yeah.
I don't think
your
so,
New York
but
Knicks.
I like those odds. My Knicks.
Will they close out the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5?
My fan hat says yes. My instincts say no.
Okay.
I want them badly to close Cleveland out, just because I feel like Cleveland has a really good team. I don't think we need to play with Donovan Mitchell too much longer. Donovan Mitchell,
he's eventually gonna go off.
yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of, because he's cut from the same cloth as Jimmy Butler. Maybe not to the extent of Jimmy Butler, but he's got a little killer in him. He's got a little bit dog. He's got dog in him, right?
Absolutely.
And today, I don't think that he's going to allow us. He's not going quietly. It just is not going to happen. So our dogs, Jalen Bronson, he's got to step up tonight. It's a big ask. It's a big ask to close the Cavs out. It's a big ask. Hopefully we win the series. I think overall we're going to win the series. I just don't think we're just going to be able to put Donovan Mitchell away that easily.
That's fair. That's fair. So you think Knicks in 6?
I think Knicks in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if Donovan Mitchell puts on a Jimmy Butler type performance tonight.
All right, so
Darius Garland too is a dog too. He's a dog too. I like Darius Garland.
So I'm gonna say this, and you may not like it. Yeah, you may not like it, but I got this series going 7. Now I don't know who's gonna win it, but I got this series going. Yeah, and here's why. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I got it going 7, and I'm not saying that the Knicks are gonna lose or win, but Knicks fans around, they're nicking. You know, the series ain't over. The series ain't over at 3-1, and I hear a lot of we can get to the finals talk, and I'm like, get out of round 1 first, and I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're gonna be disappointed when, I think a lot of people expect the Knicks to lose tonight, right? But a lot of people, like you just said, Donovan Mitchell he ain't just gonna go out like no punk. So it's like he might go for 45 tonight.
Yeah, and let me say this to other Knicks fans: we got to relax. This is not going to be an easy series. I think honestly, out of all the series, these teams were the closely were as even as they come. Right. So I felt like both teams coming into the series before they played a game, it was a close matchup that could have went either way. Of course, yeah, I'm rooting for the Knicks, but Cleveland has a really, really good team. If we close them out tonight, great. I'll take it, but I am not sleeping on the Cavaliers by any stretch of the imagination, especially not with Donovan Mitchell. I've seen enough of Donovan Mitchell to where we're going to have to play. We have to come and play.
Yeah, it's going. So I know you're the resident Knicks fan. What happens in Game 5?
We gotta weather the storm. They are going to throw their best punch in the first half. and we have to be a resilient bunch to take it. We have to respond, and we got to match their intensity. I think that we have to go in there and with the mentality that this is a must-win game.
Right. I agree.
It can't be, oh yeah, we had them before. They're going to roll over and they're going to play dead. Like we've got to go in there and we got to take. We got to do what the Heat did to the Bucks. Like you have to take their heart out of their soul. So you need to play Donovan Mitchell like he spit on your mom. Like it's gotta like be that type of game to where you got to go in there and you got to punch first, strike first, first. Like we got to be the aggressors, and we got to take it. We got to take it from there, man. We can't sit back and allow Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland to get hot. Levert, none of those guys, man. We got to be on top of our game. I think we could do it, but Donovan Mitchell, he's a problem. He is a problem. And RJ Barrett, I mean, he gonna have to, I mean, he's got big shoulders, paws. He gonna have to step up, man. He gotta step up. Randall, I know he's a little banged up. He's gonna have to step up tonight. Jalen Bronson, he's gonna have to play. He those guys, man, they've got to go out there and show some fight and some grit, man.
Sound like you're giving them a pep talk right now.
Yeah, man. I am fired up. I am fired up. I'm trying to keep it under wraps. I mean, it's been a long time, man. So I don't want to be let down. This is my one team that it never fails. At some point, they figure out how to let me down. So I am often have low expectations.
All right. So let me get your winners today. It's 4 games. It's 4 games. 4 games today. So who are your winners?
So I got the Lakers.
You got the Lakers.
I got the Knicks because it's bad luck to just go against them. So I got the Knicks because I want them to win.
Okay.
I got the Bucks. Yeah, I don't think they go home. And then the other series is 2-2, right?
Yeah, Warriors and Kings.
I got the Warriors.
Ooh. So I got Cleveland. I'm hoping that the Lakers win. But I'm gonna go with the Lakers. There's no way I could pick against Miami. I got Miami, and I got the Kings. So I got 2 games being closed out today.
Okay.
And we just gonna see. I think that the Knicks. I mean, not the Knicks. The Heat. They gotta find a way to weather the storm. Now that's who has to weather the storm because I got the feeling that Milwaukee is about to come out here gunning, and they got like Bam has to step up. Bam needs a 20-10 game. He needs a 20-10 game. Butler's gonna Butler. He's probably gonna have 28, 27, 28. And then the role players just have to play. I mean, if you could get 15 from Kyle Lowry and 7 assists, if you could get 8 from Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin could give you another between 8 and 12. I think you got a shot. Because you got other guys on that team, other role players on that team that have to step up. The Lakers, it's going. Now that Warriors Kings game, De'Aaron Fox is hurt, but I still think he gets 30. If his hand is good enough, which I think it'll be, I think they're gonna give him a shot or something. And if his hand is good enough, just good enough, it doesn't have to be all the way 100%. You know, it's not 100%. Then yeah, I have them winning because he's gonna. I just have a feeling that he's gonna put on the show.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So who you got going in the first number one?
So last week I said Stroud,
Which was
but
crazy.
it's gonna be Young.
Yeah, it's gonna be Young, and I think everything starts at 2 because hearing rumors that the Texans may trade their number 2 pick. I'm gonna be mad if Levis gets picked before Stroud. I think that Stroud is I think he's good. Not really sure where these rumors are coming from.
He's the best quarterback in the draft.
I don't know about that one. I think
Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
You are. Bryce Young is the best quarterback in the draft, and it's not even close. It's not close. Bryce Young is leaps and bounds better than every other quarterback in this draft.
All right.
So
I said it here first. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, and I keep saying it. Everybody's like, nah, hell nah. I don't know, man. When I saw that guy play, I was like,
against who? Against Georgia?
Throw, huh?
Against Georgia?
That too. I think I'm high on Stroud. I think Stroud's going to be good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, it's time for us to get up out of here. We'll definitely be back. You know, we may do some over the weekend. Probably not, but we'll definitely be back next week. And I think that we'll probably be in the same room. We'll talk some because by the time we come back, we may do like a quick 15-minute type show, like a short, just to talk about some of these series that's gonna end. So we may do something like that. I think that'd be pretty dope. And that right there is our cue to get the hell up out of here. But this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
We out of here.
Off the record, Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.